Hi everyone, James here, and today I'm doing another haul video with the amount of Lego that I have accumulated as of the 3rd of April 2016. So yeah, over the past kind of like 2 months, I have acquired quite a bit more Legos since my last Lego haul. And this is basically pretty much everything that I've accumulated in that time. And before I begin this video, I do want to say that there are 3 sets that unfortunately I didn't see of the boxes for this kind of haul display, if you will. But the sets that I did get were from the Lego Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice line. And as you can see, that they are pretty much all here. We have the Dawn of Justice minifigs along here, and as for the rest of the minifigs, I will explain in the haul. So, back to here. And, alrighty, let's get on with the haul. So, first up is this Lego Creators set. Unfortunately, I forget the title, or the name or title of this set. However, the primary purpose for me to get this set was solely for the parts. And that's something that I find I get a lot of Lego sets for nowadays, is no longer, like, say, to keep the set itself, but a lot of the specific parts that come in the sets. And this this is a prime example of that, where pretty much all of the parts in it will go towards greater causes that of mocks and whatnot that I'll be doing later. So that's that in a nutshell. So yeah. Next up is the Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens Rey's Speeder. Now again, this falls into the category of pretty much everything about the speeder itself will be used for spare parts, as will specific aspects of the Thug minifig. Unfortunately, sorry, the camera's not focusing. Sorry, I keep going to pronounce that as Yukar. I'm probably really badly mispronouncing that, but again, entire speeder will go toward the parts that go to make it will go towards better causes, and I just really wanted a Rey minifig, so at last I have her to add to the collection. In fact, you can actually see her up there, I think. So yeah. So next up, I'll actually bring these two forward to save time. First up is the Lego Dimensions Ninjago Team Pack, which has Cole and Kai in it. Now again, very similar to before, I got this pack primarily for spare parts, in particular select parts that come with the Boulder Bomber. They will be used for an upcoming mock, which hopefully I'll finish at some point very soon. And yeah. Now, unfortunately, again, I don't have a games console, so I can't enjoy the actual game of Dimension itself. But again, I'm just really glad that I have the parts that I need in order to do more stuff in the future. So there's that. Now, while the previous sets have been primarily for spare parts, this set has been primarily for the minifigs, which is the Joker and Harley Quinn. Now, in this set, technically this is the second Harley Quinn that I've ever gotten, the first being from that set there, which I'll talk about in a little bit. However, in this set, this is actually the very first Joker minifig I've ever gotten. I think I was long overdue a Joker minifig, and I just finally wanted to add one to the collection. So I'm just glad that it's kind of like a classic Joker. Hopefully at some point I'll get maybe a much more different take on the Joker. Who knows? But long story short, just really glad to finally add these minifigs to the collection. Alright, from this point forward, we really get into the Lego superheroes sort of stuff, and it's for these first 2 sets, it's going to be DC, and the rest of it is going to be Marvel. So, first up is the Lego Batman Gotham City Cycle Chase. Now, I have to say, there are a lot of different things about the set that I really like. In particular, I like the overall kind of general design of the Bat Bicycle or Bat Cycle, even Bat Pod, if you will. Now, I will say this, it is horribly out of proportions for the actual Batman minifig, but in terms of design, I actually think it looks pretty good. The one thing I love the most about this set is the fact that we're getting a brand new Harley Quinn minifig, who is arguably unlike any previous version of the character, and making his Lego debut is the sharpshooting assassin Deadshot. Um, was it was it? I think he looks absolutely fantastic in Lego, but I'm just a little bit nitpicky about some of the yellow highlights. But again, that's just me. Before I leave this set, the one thing I really do like is that, well, first off, later this year is the Suicide Squad movie, and obviously Lego won't be promoting or doing a Lego Suicide Squad line for pretty obvious reasons. If you don't know why, you'll understand soon enough. But the one thing that I actually like about several Lego sets is that they're actually giving us they're actually giving us Lego minifigs of the Suicide Squad characters. For example, in this set, obviously we're getting Deadshot for the very first time in Lego, and we're getting a Harley Quinn minifig who somewhat strongly resembles her movie counterpart. Likewise, in a set we're going to be getting later this year, which is I think it's the Killer Croc Sewer Smash. We're actually getting three of the Squad characters: Killer Croc, Captain Boomerang, and Katana. Or Katana. I don't know. So basically, even though they obviously aren't promoting or doing a toy line or set line for this actual Suicide Squad movie, they're actually giving us the characters. So that is a pretty big bonus. So yeah, that's that. Next up are these two little Lego Superheroes Mighty Micro sets. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of these. Primarily because of what they do with some of the minifigs. In particular, let's try and look at Ultron if the camera focuses. I'm not a big fan of select designs or select minifigs in this series. Ultron, I think personally, is one of my least favorite. Um, Hulk is fairly decent for the most part. Ultron, my least favorite. But what I like about some of these sets is that for kids, Lego's trying to make them was it pretty simplistic, and in fairness, they are that. So yeah. In particular, what I like about these sets the most is that some of the characters actually do look quite funny. I think the Flash actually looks the least goofy of the lot, if you will. In fact, there's probably a hopefully better up close look at him. If the camera would focus for once. There we go. Like for the most part, it actually is pretty nice to see a minifig quite different. So yeah, putting these aside. Next up, I have pretty much everything from this point forward is Marvel, and these two sets here are from the TV show Avengers Avengers Assemble. And first up is the Iron Skull sub attack. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is not a great set in my opinion. I think the design of the sub is kind of stupid. I'm just gonna be blunt about it. The fact that there's a giant skull on the front that somewhat resembles the Red Skull is kind of weird. Nicely designed though, but looks kind of weird from my perspective. Aside from that, it is a pretty nice set. The primary reason I got the set in the first place was for the Scuba Iron Man minifig, which to many Iron Man fans strongly resembles a suit seen in Iron Man 3 called Hammerhead, which is basically Tony's underwater armor. So basically, so what's really great is 3 years after Iron Man 3 came out, Lego is still giving us Lego Iron Man suits from the movies, even though they aren't technically related to the movies, which is awesome in my opinion. Speaking of which, we now cut to the Avenjet Space Mission set. First off, I have a few things to say about this. Number one, I don't like the idea of this Avenjet. Stupid name first off, not a big fan of the design. That said, I don't like the design from the TV show either. Don't really watch the show that much, I just look for specific plot points and whatnot, and it's overall okay, and that's a good word to use. Hyperion is Okay, let's be honest. I know that Marvel and DC have a lot of copycat characters. Iron Man is very similar to Batman, and Thanos is very similar to DC's Darkseid. But Marvel, I'll be honest, if you're going to copy or be inspired by other characters, don't let your version of Superman be so obvious. It's just a small polite comment. I mean, really. But aside from that, it is a fairly decent set. What I love the most are actually the lineup of minifigs. Um, Again, I've said my own opinion about Hyperion. I am so glad to finally have a Miss Marvel minifig. Probably one of the strongest female characters in Marvel finally has her own minifig, and that, in my opinion, is a big thumbs up. Space Captain America is nothing more than his scuba Captain America minifig. The only difference is that he has a little bit of a jetpack. So there's that. We finally have a Space Iron Man minifig. This one bears a strong resemblance, well, a pretty strong resemblance to a suit, an Iron Man space suit as seen in Iron Man 3 called a Star Boost, which is, and as a result, to have your own Lego version, I think is fantastic. And of course, because, well, it's probably one of the main reasons anyone got this set, if you're a Marvel fan like me, Thanos. I still cannot believe I'm actually looking at a Lego Thanos Big Fig. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. That's probably a better view of him. But the way that I actually view this Big Fig is actually, now obviously Lego has been doing a couple of Lego Marvel movie themed sets for a couple of years. In fact, the next 3 sets are actually Lego Captain America Civil War sets. But the way that I view this Big Fig is this could be considered as Lego's dry run or attempt at a Thanos Big Fig for the Lego Avengers Infinity War line. Now, they have not confirmed that they're actually doing an Infinity War line, but it would make sense that they would try something like this out before the big deal itself. And I think fan reception has been really, really positive. Only problem is that he has no Infinity Gauntlet, which is a bit disappointing. But it is actually fantastic to see Thanos and so many other great things in this set, even if I don't like select aspects of it. But good set to have. And last but not least, we have the Captain America Civil War line. So these will be my last 3 sets, and hopefully that'll then conclude everything. And actually, I take that back. Before I do get these fixed up, or before I look into these, I did get one thing, and I got these. I think they're 64 by 64 grey base plates. And basically, I got these for potentially a couple of mocks that I may be working on at some point, but I just wanted, if you will, a template to work on, so I got these. And now I can finally get into these sets. And before I actually do get into these sets, I will say this. I'm really, really happy that Lego is actually doing a Lego Captain America Civil War line. I couldn't be happier. But if you ask me, select aspects of this series are really hit and miss. And probably the best example of that is actually Crossbones Hazard Heist. Now, I'm sure that you may already have heard your own opinions about some of these sets with this one in particular. But basically, I think that the minifig selection is mediocre, and that is a pretty strong word to use. If the camera would focus, there we go. So first off, we have a Lego MCU Falcon. Finally, Anthony Mackie has his own Lego minifig, and for me alone, that's a pretty good reason to buy this set. The other 2 minifigs are pretty disappointing, if you ask me. Black Widow is pretty much returning as her Age of Ultron minifig self. Basically, this is not what her outfit or costume looks like in the movie. It's been completely upgraded or updated, and unfortunately, Lego is just rehashing old designs. So that's a little bit disappointed. And perhaps, in my opinion, the biggest disappointment in this set is the minifig of Crossbones. Crossbones in the Civil War movie looks awesome. Frank Grillo, I think, is going to do an awesome job as Crossbones. At least the version that we haven't seen just yet. But really, Lego, this is what we get. Like in the movie, he has this awesome armored muscle suit of sorts, and we just get a cheesy, well, this. I'm sorry, this is just not a good version of a villain that deserves credit. But let's look beyond that. So select aspects about this set are Black Widow actually has a pretty cool bike, and I love the fact that LEGO have actually updated the stickers for the bike since the Age of Ultron series. So I actually am glad to see that, and I have kept the bike. Falcon actually has an all new mold of LEGO wings. I think these wings are okay. They're okay at best, but the size of Red Wing, in this case Falcon's drone that they've created for the movie, or updated, sorry, for the movie, it is just too big. I mean, just trying to find, yeah, like down here for example. I mean, like, it sticks to the back, it fits onto his backpack. It is just beyond enormous, and it is so impractical. So yeah, that is one disappointing aspect of the set. And Crossbones truck, really. A good way to describe this is it's like a rejected kids version of something from Mad Max Fury Road. Is probably the only good thing I can say about this. But I've pretty much been going about this set for way too long. Sum up version, okay is a very strong word to use. There are good things about this set, but I suppose the only real excuse for getting this set is solely for Falcon. So yeah. Next up is the Black Panther Pursuit set. Now, somewhat similar to the past set, it has its own unique issues, but I feel much more positive about this set than the past. Now, the minifig lineup, I'll definitely say this. I am actually amazed. I'm both amazed and delighted that we finally have a full LEGO retail version of the Winter Soldier. If you don't know, LEGO released a exclusive version of the Winter Soldier from the Captain America Civil War movie. It was available, I think, for like pre-orders or select purchases on the LEGO website or in stores. But I'm just finally happy to have a brand new version. Black Panther, I think, looks pretty good. He has some fantastic torso printing, and I like the select printing and details on his head. The fact that there are two individual pieces and not a huge helmet is a little bit disappointing, and I would have preferred the idea of a helmet. But that's perfectly that's perfectly adequate. And at last, Captain America. I think sorry, the camera's not focusing again. And I should really keep things in the middle of the screen, huh? But Captain America in this set, I think, is fairly okay. The fact that we actually get an unmasked version of Captain America in a retail set is actually pretty nice. I really don't like the fact that LEGO has simply reused or rehashed the previous Captain America torso. Similar to the problem with Black Widow in the previous set is that LEGO were just rehashing existing designs. Now, true, Captain America's costume in the Civil War movie looks a lot like his previous version. This new version in the film has a couple of updates and tweaks to it. LEGO pretty much has just reused the exact same torso from last year, and it is a little bit disappointing to see that. But yeah, I'll let it pass for this once. As for the rest of the set itself, it actually was pretty nice. I haven't kept this Task Force truck, or Jeep if you will, because I just don't think it's very practical. I kept Bucky's bike, primarily because I like LEGO motorbikes for some reason. And of course, Black Panther's jet, I think actually looks pretty awesome. Now, the jet itself actually has a lot of like lime green pieces involved in the build. I basically replaced all of these with like dark bluish grey or just black pieces because I feel as though these stand out way too much. But aside from that, it actually is a pretty nice set that I do really, really like. And last but by no means least, sorry about that, is the superhero airport battle. Basically, this is the biggest of all the Civil War sets and perhaps the most spoiler filled. Sorry, I couldn't help myself, but come on, look at it. Well, Lego pretty much said that whenever they gave him his own section of the box. But anyway, basically, the superhero airport battle is actually a pretty nice set. I actually ended up keeping a lot more from this set than I initially thought I would. Now, you do have quite a lineup of characters. Now, you get your very own brick built giant man, which is an awesome one in my book, and perhaps the number one character that everyone is talking about, if the camera would focus, there we go, is we're getting a miniaturized version of Ant-Man. This is pretty much like, this is simply a printed Lego trophy of Ant-Man, which serves as his shrunken down form, which I think is absolutely awesome. I'm sure everyone has said the exact same thing, but I think that it's actually almost disappointing that Lego didn't give us something like this in last year's Lego Ant-Man set. But Lego have certainly, Lego have certainly redeemed themselves with this little thing, even if there was nothing to hit in the first place. Next up is Agent 13, aka Sharon Carter. Actually, really looking forward to seeing what her role is in the film. The comics make me very nervous for what happens in this film, but we'll see. Next up is Scarlet Witch, and Lego have certainly redeemed themselves a lot from the blunders that they did with the Scarlet Witch minifig from last year. They give her a much more accurate looking design. Her hairpiece is the correct one this time around, and overall, I'm just really looking forward to seeing what she's like in the film. The Winter Soldier minifig is the exact same from before. Absolutely nothing has changed. The Captain America minifig, has gone completely unchanged from last year's Age of Ultron line. So that's disappointing. And last but by no means least, the two Iron Man minifigs. Iron Man in his Mark 46 armor and the brand new War Machine armor. In fact, I actually think this would be a better look at it. Sorry, I'm actually leaning over to get to view the camera. But War Machine finally is actually molded in black. At long last, Lego gives us the War Machine we wanted, in the color scheme that we wanted, and it looks absolutely awesome. Now, I will say this, I have actually replaced the stud shooter on War Machine's shoulder with a smaller shoulder cannon, similar to what he got in the Lego Iron Man 3 series or line, but I definitely think it is very practical and functional, so I like the idea of that. And then, of course, we have the Lego Iron Man Mark 46. I actually really, really like this minifig. Now, the only new thing about this minifig is actually the torso. Actually, go back to this one. The torso printing is brand new for this minifig, and they actually went to a lot of effort to add in the blue highlights, which is awesome. Again, that's the only new thing. The head faceplate is the exact same from last year, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But they did rehash. The legs from the Mark 43, and that, in my opinion, is a little bit of a cheapskate move. So, yeah. But again, that is the superhero airport battle. And sorry, the very last thing I'll say before I go is, again, I ended up keeping a lot more of this set than I thought. Obviously, I built Giant Man. I mean, come on, he's awesome. I kept this little luggage trolley because I think it looks cute. I kept the air traffic control tower with a couple of modifications to select areas. Overall, I just think it looks pretty nice in the set. It is nicely detailed. But I didn't keep the Quinjet as seen here because, for one thing, I already have a Quinjet and I don't have a lot of room to store another one, even if it is downsized like this one. And ultimately, as nice as I think it looks from this angle, the truth of the matter is that all the nice detail you see up along the front here, that is pretty much where it begins and ends, because at the back, the design at the very back of the Quinjet is very strange because, was it ultimately it's curved and smoothed right the way up to the very back, and then there's just this immediate slope going down the back, and it looks very hollow as well. So ultimately that is it. But that is my Lego haul for April of 2016. So thank you everyone for watching. Please subscribe for more videos, and until next time, bye everyone, and thank you for watching.